everybody, my name is Leo, and in the today's video we're gonna do a demo review of the new Kemper Profiler stage. The Profiler stage is essentially an amp modeling and multi-effect system that combine the Kemper head or rack with the Profiler remote. In this way, it is gonna to compete, for instance, with the Line 6 Helix, the Boss GT1000 and the Fractal Audio FM3. Well, actually, considering its price point, it's gonna to compete most likely with the Fractal Audio FM3. The Profiler stage comes loaded with hundreds of amps, and it features the Kemper profiling tech for capturing the tone of your amps. So its functionalities are essentially equal to the ones of the Profiler head. 5 foot switches allow direct access to 5 different rigs per performance, while entire performances can be switched using the bank system. 4 different buttons can be assigned individually per rig to toggle pre and post amp effects. Dedicated foot switches control tuner mode, looper, and can trigger tap tempo. Up to 4 expression pedals can be connected to the unit, for instance to control continuous parameters or volume or wah-wah. Alternatively, external foot switches can be connected for even more toggling functions. The Profiler stage features dedicated stereo monitor outputs for driving to either full range or standard guitar cabinet simultaneously and independently from the direct stereo feed. 2 stereo effect loops with stereo return for each allow for connected both pedal and outboard studio effects. As regards the description, first of all, the technical specifications. Let me say that I found very few technical info about this machine and Kemper machines in general. For instance, I was not able to find the frequency response or the crosstalk frequency and so on and so forth, where, for instance, for the Fractal Audio FX3, you have many detailed technical info. Nevertheless, let me tell you what I found. The weight is 4.6 kilo or 10 by 14 pounds. It doesn't need an external power adapter, and this is very handy. And as regards digital I/O, it can be connected with an external digital interface with SBDIF connection, and it is able to transmit at 44.1, 48, 88.2 or 96 kHz at 24 bits. So audio signal is not passed through the USB connection of this unit, and this is really a pity. Its dynamic range is 108 dB, where, for instance, the Fractal Audio is 114 dB. And this is the only technical data I was able to find that allows us to compare it with other units. As regards the layout, here we have the signal chain. The unit allows us to put 4 effects before the amp and 4 effects after the amp, and also to switch on and off the amp or the cabinet section of the signal chain. It has dedicated foot switches for the looper, the tuner and the tap tempo. The gain, the master volume and the amp EQ knobs are always available, very handy. We have 2 buttons to select entire performances, and then we can browse 5 different rigs within a performance with 5 dedicated foot switches. Then, for each rig, we can control directly 4 effects with other 4 specific foot switches. Actually, I like this layout, very functional. As regards the back of the unit, from left to right we have the input of the guitar, 2 sends and 4 returns to connect external effect pedals, the XLR left and right output and the TRS ones. We have the headphone jack and the SPDIF digital I/O that I mentioned previously. Then we have 4 jacks in order to connect external controllers or switches and the MIDI in and out. Actually, there is no MIDI through as there is in the Kemper Profiler head. Finally, we have 2 USB connections, one to connect external USB key, for instance to backup your rigs, and the other one to connect the unit to the computer. As mentioned previously, no audio signal are sent through this USB connection, and in order to record with this unit you have to connect it with the SPDIF in-out if your audio interface has them, mine has not, or in the analog way using the XLR output. So here are my final pro and cons. Well, actually I wouldn't talk about cons, but about my wish list. Pros. First of all, with the profiler stage you can profile your amps, like you can do with the profiler head. And the possibility to profile your amps, bringing them with you in such a convenient format is really amazing. The pedal board is really well thought and well built, and I found it pretty easy to use. Actually, in a few minutes I was able to build my own rig using the internal amps. As regards my wish list, first of all, this is not an audio interface. You cannot connect your guitar to the profiler stage and then with the USB record your guitar in your computer. The USB port here are used only for managing the rigs, not for exchanging audio signal. It has digital outputs, but they are in a quite unusual format, that is SPDIF. And this format has two drawbacks in my opinion. This SPDIF connection can bring only two channels, and so you cannot send the amp signal and the effect signal independently, as I did for instance with my Boss GT1000. And the other drawback is that SPDIF is not commonly used in the audio interfaces. For instance, the Apollo Twin has ADAT and not SPDIF. And for instance, ADAT can bring 8 channels and not only 2. Last item in my wish list would be to be able to profile 2 signals together and not only one like you can do with the profiler stage. So for instance, for me it would be pretty amazing to be able to profile 2 signals, and in this way I would be able to profile my Marshall SQ20 with 2 different speakers, an Anico Blue and for instance a greenback, putting them one on the left side and the other on the right side. It would have been pretty amazing, maybe in a future release. So we reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did it, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. It would be of a great help. Please let me know what you think about the profiler and how, in your opinion, it compares with the other modeling pedalboard like the Line 6 Civics or the Boss GT1000. If you're interested in my music, you can check out a playlist of songs of mine in the description below. So stay tuned and see you in the next video. Bye bye.